Greetings, Boris and Ghouls, and today we're going to be making another project for our steampunk month of January. Starting the new year off with a whole new series of projects. Alright, we're going to start, we're going to be making a vase today, and I'm going to show you what we're going to be putting in it, and I think you guys will get a kick out of it. What you're going to need is one vase, and I might add stuff as I do it. Bamboo skewers. Anytime a book is torn up, it's a tragedy, but in this case, I'm going to give this shredded section of book a second life. Got my collection of cogs and clock faces, and you're going to need some black craft foam, some Mod Podge, a hot glue gun, some paint, and some brushes, and a big brush for your Mod Podge. So, for start, and also a pair of scissors and possibly even a knife. And probably one of these because we're going to be doing a little bit of detail work. Alright, so let's get started. Now, like I said, any book being torn up is a tragedy. But this is not a complete book. It got damaged during the move. It's worn, it's ragged. But it'll be perfect for what we're doing here. So we're going to bring our glass base. Now this is just a simple glass base from Dollar Tree. I like the coloring, and I'm not going to cover it completely up, but I do want it covered somewhat. So what we're going to do is we're going to rip off this page, and you can rip it or cut it or whatever you want to do. I'm just going to tear it in shreds because I want it kind of uneven, just a little bit. Because what we're going to do is we're just kind of do that with it and just kind of glue it into place. So what we're going to do is we're going to get our Mod Podge out. Hopefully it's still good. Ooh, it's got a wild smell to it. Mod Podge always does. Alright, we're going to get a little bit of this here, right here, and we're going to just kind of slop a little bit of this on here. And we are going to do all four sides, but I'm going to have to do what I can, when I can, how I can. So here's how we're going to do it. I'm going to do 3 sides now, and then I'll do a 4th. I'm only wanting it part of the way up, but alright, we got plenty of that now. Alright, we're going to lay our glue thing right there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to come up here and lay this into place here and just kind of seal it in. Just kind of Mod Podge it. Like I said, it don't even have to be in order. I just want it to be where it just kind of looks kind of like it was put on there by accident or what all. Now I may go up. I've got one more piece, and I think I'm gonna end up using some of that. Because you want to layer it a little bit, and we'll see if I can get this where you can see what I'm doing here. There we go. Now we're going to grab this and just kind of even it up. And dog ears are the one thing it's not going to be good for this project. Now we'll come up here, and I really should have got up underneath there, but we'll make that work. And get up underneath here on this side. We're going to grab a little more of this Mod Podge. And this project may take you a little bit longer time because you got to let all this stuff dry. And it's going to have to be on 4 sides. And you can put it up as high as you want. I'm just trying to make sure that all this is in place. So I want it to be good and smoothed down. And right now we're not getting good and smoothed, so we're going to have to keep tinkering with it, and may even have to pull some of this off and try to layer it up. I may just be not particularly great at Mod Podging, so let's see. I'm just going to use a hand because I'm going to have to wash my hands anyway. But that's step 1 of this project right there. You just kind of want to Mod Podge this into place. Now, let's see, now we're going to come up here and we can do the same thing all the way across. And I've got my hands all covered in glue, so I'm going to have to find there's my paint rag. That'll work nicely. Get my hands cleared. Now, I'm going to go ahead and do it on this side too. And I might put one more band up across the top of it. Just kind of slop this stuff on. Now you want to kind of follow the contour of the paper on this side, because you don't want to not use your brush and inadvertently knock it loose. And it don't got to be perfect, not by any stretch. Now, let's go ahead and tear us off another page of this. And keep old books like this handy, even if the pages get ripped, because you can use them for all sorts of things. Get this dog ear off of it. And see, this one I had put up because I didn't know what I was going to do with an old book. It got shredded, because I see any kind of literature being ripped, being damaged as being a bad thing. But I'm going to go ahead and lay up some more of this glue on the surface here, because it's going to overlap and I don't want it interfering. So we're going to go ahead and lay some more Mod Podge along here. And it did dog ear, but I'm hoping I can, let me see if I can fix that. Let me see if I can undog ear this page, because we don't want any dog earring. Because the dog ears are not going to be a good thing. There we go. Now, go ahead and put our paper on here. And you got a little bit of an overhang, so we come up here and we just kind of shear that off. You could use a razor knife for that, because we're going to put one more layer on it to get that bottom completely covered nice and smooth. Now, but first, let's go up here. We're going to go ahead and lay in a little bit more of this to kind of cover up, because I want the glass covered good on the bottom of this. So what we're going to do is kind of just do this and this. Now, grab this extra glue, Mod Podge, and just kind of want to go over the top with it. And believe it or not, I'm fairly new with the use of Mod Podge. And it ain't gonna matter if it folds under a little bit. Now we're gonna have to Mod Podge the top of it. I want it to be a fairly consistent surface, because I want it to be a very consistent sort of surface. And while that's drying, that's cool, but I think we can do one better. And I got some glue stuck up here, so I might as well, since I've got Mod Podge all over it, I might as well Mod Podge it all the way up. Sometimes your design concepts are made for you. In this case, I didn't really want to Mod Podge the whole thing up, but at least the top of it up here on top will still be glass, hopefully. But there's going to be some other stuff going on too, so. Now, cover this, and I'm going to put my brush over here for a minute. And hopefully the batteries won't go dead on the camera like they tend to do when I'm working on stuff. Alright, so what we're going to do is let's lay this like this. And like I said, this book kind of got messed up in when we moved in here years ago, and I had it put up not knowing what I was going to do with it. And sometimes, like I said, the inspirations just sort of write themselves. So we're going to go ahead and put some more Mod Podge in here, and in here, and under here, and press it down. Now, and I'm probably going to have to layer down another layer of this Mod Podge stuff. So I want it to be So we're going to be doing some interesting stuff with this. I wish I had like some old maps or something to go with this, but it is what it is. And like I said, I'm going to save the rest of this book for the rest of the month. I've got some other ideas. I saw an idea to use this stuff here, to use old book pages and stuff from, there was an online place that was doing a sort of what they called an altered box, which was kind of an interesting thing. They use like matchboxes and stuff to create art, and I thought that was kind of nifty. So we're going to be using the book pages. I also happen to know somebody that used pages from torn up Harry Potter books to decoupage their desk, which I thought was again a very novel concept. Gotta get a fold right here that's getting under my skin. There we go. I don't want to fold. Okay. We got a rip. Well, rips are not a big deal because, well, the pages were not exactly in great shape to begin with. So we'll have to see. We got a fold right there, and that's not gonna fly. All right. Get underneath here and just kind of, I don't want it to be overly let's see how many minutes we got left. 7 minutes. We're not doing too bad. Alright. I'm going to have to clean the top off of this thing with a little water anyway. Alright. I got Mod Podge all over my hands. And I'm probably going to have to clean the top off of this. I don't like this bulge right there. There is a bulge right here that is a nuisance. I'm wondering. I'm trying to unbulge it. And that's proving that worked. That got rid of it. Or at least most of it. So, it's kind of a neat design. Like I said, you know, just if you happen an old book or a book that got torn up, an old paperback or something, that's perfect for this sort of thing. One of those, I guess, tacky Harlequin romance things. And if you like Harlequin romances, don't flame me. Person's got a right to an opinion. Alright, I got this stuff. This is a hazard of this right here. Getting Mod Podge all over your hands. Now we're going to let this dry. And we'll be back in the morning to work on it, to work on the rest of this video. Alright guys, I think this is dry enough to work with now. Still a little bit tacky, but I think we can work with it. So we're going to lay it down on its side and hopefully not stick it to the paper. And it's not. And it's got a little bit of sticky right here. So, tell you what, we'll lay it on this side since we know this one's fairly dry. Alright. I went and, while I was waiting for this to dry, and picked up a few other things. Because all sorts of things, anything that might have been in the 19th century. I've got some collection of buttons. These came from Dollar Tree. They just got a whole bunch of assorted buttons. We can use those. We've got some cogs and gears, obviously. And I picked up a bunch of these little jewel type gems. Let me see if I can get this where you can see it better. See, these little jewelly gems right here. Trying not to blind you with the light. And so, let's kind of do something with this, shall we? So, what I'm thinking is we're going to glue maybe a button or two. Let's see what we got. Because I'm kind of trying to keep this thing, I don't want it being overly colorful. This is not a rainbow sort of project. It has a little flat button. It's got little red buttons. I like this little red one because you need a pop of color on this thing. It's going to be so dreary otherwise. So we'll add one red button to it. Maybe just a couple of little buttons. There's a black button. And it says for you, de facto for you, whatever that means. You got these little tiny goldish buttons. Well, I had maybe a couple of little buttons. Now, let's see. I'm going to try to cover up any kind of flaws in the decoupage process with stuff. So, and just kind of daub off this. I think I'm going to glue this secondary button square center of this one. Just because I've got a little bit of a flaw right there, and I'm just going to set that right there. Now, let's get rid of this stringers, because stringers are the bane of my existence. See, it's kind of like that. Maybe put a few little gems in there around it, just to kind of, I don't know how many gems I got, but I know how many I'm going to end up using, so. If this will even hold them. Alright. Add a little more glue, because I suspect that some of these are not going to stay in there if I don't. So, this kind of random patterns. Now you see, I'm not going to put one in the middle, but we will maybe put another few little bits and pieces in here. Now, where's my bag of cogs? Here we are. And hopefully haven't damaged too much the interior. So, I'm going to throw another clock face onto it just because. So, remember, we got this little narrow thing on the back side that's kind of a nuisance. So, I don't know if I've got my knife, but I do have something that every Victorian gentleman would need. Just got to keep from cutting my fingers off doing it. Don't want to be, yeah, you don't want to play games with that, and I can't safely get that. So let me see if I've got another knife on me. See if I put my pocket knife back in my pocket. I thought I did. Yeah, there it is. I found it. Not much safer, but a little bit safer. And now over here. You don't want to make it too busy, but I am going to make it a little bit busy. So, clock face. Don't want to put it on that side. I just kind of like that button there to itself. See how many minutes we got here. I'm just going to put a circle of this on our clock face, which is also a button, ironically. And I'm going to put it right top side. There you go. Looks like Big Ben. Now, I'm going to put a few gears and cogs on this dude. Let me see if I can raise this up so you can see what I'm doing. And I'll move this over so you can see what I'm doing. And we'll turn this light on and hopefully not blind you as to what I'm doing. An idea. There we go. That'll give us enough light because it's now going to reflect the light around the room. See? Now, you got to make this kind of interesting from all angles. So, if you, whatever bits and pieces and odds and ends you got will always be welcome in this sort of a project. So here, I've got a clock face, but I really don't want to use another one just yet. But I do want to put a couple of cogs in place. Now, what we're going to do here is just kind of come up here and just kind of very gently, because I don't want to get glue on my fingers because this stuff is almighty hot. Like so. Now we're going to do the same thing with the other side here. Put another one right in there. Now this is a little guy, so it got to be very cautious. Don't want to go too crazy with that. Now, far, so good, I think. Now, is there anything else we want to add? Now I'm going to maybe put some painted details right here, but I'm going to wait for this. Oh, the decoupage is almost dry. Let's turn it around this way because I've got to see it and get some of these extra foam bits off of it. And you'll see what I'm putting in this vase in a minute. So we got to figure out what we're going to put on this side. Now, I got to have at least, I'm going to use one side that's going to have all of something. So let's go ahead and put the one on this side here to have a little bit of everything. So, I'll take let's see what color buttons we got in here. Like I said, I've got a red button, and I'd like to maybe kind of continue that theme if possible. Oh no, that's a cute idea. The other one I had was kind of a turtle shell type color, or a gold metal type button on that side. I don't know, that blends in too much. We got to have something that pops out from the rest of it. That one's just doesn't sit in there well, and it's not sunken in. That's too dark. I need something whiter. Yellow's too bright, I think. I fear that yellow's entirely too bright. Got a big turtle shell button right here. We're going to try that and see how that looks. Right there. What do you think, guys? Let me get the stringers off of this. Stringers, as we've said before, are the bane of my existence. Alright, now, let's go ahead and turn that. I'm going to bring this down here. I'm hopefully not going to blind you too much. There we go. Well, not quite that far. Like I said, I'm having to do the adjusting because I'm doing the cinematography here, so bear with me. Alright, we're going to put a little glue on this here tortoise shell. And I'm going to put it up high this time. And then I'm going to glue a beige button in the middle of it. And gradually just bring the color up. It doesn't really have to make a whole lot of sense, but it does have to kind of make a little bit of sense. At least from a color and artistic standpoint. Now, people can argue all day what the deep meaning of all this is. I just want it to kind of put together a kind of a neat idea. I kind of like that. It's like a little button. Now, and I need to put some cogs and gears on this side now. So let's go ahead and grab a couple of more cogs and gears. Do I have any more big gears? I'm only putting one clock face on this dude, so I got one small gear left, and I've got another big container of gears. And that's what we're going to be using here. Hopefully not blinding you too bad. Let's see. Yeah, well, that'll work. Like I said, I'm constantly adjusting this because I don't want to blind people. Alright, a couple of these big old gears. And we kind of need some big gears here. Now you could go over those with a little bit of kind of a mint green and kind of put a patina to it. If you really wanted to age it or something. Or even a little bit of stain or something. See, now pull that loose and we'll glue another one right down here. So let's go ahead and do that. I'll have to get another glue stick. Got it right here. Reload. Now turn this, and we'll put this at a slightly lower angle than the other one, and maybe put a, now that would just stick out and get knocked off. I don't want that happening, but we could put another gear. Oh yeah, that looks good. Put it right here or something. So tell you what we're going to do. We're going to put one right there. Let me pick up my gear and set that into place. Now, need one more. We'll go ahead and put up the buttons. Where's my lid? I have a lid for my button container and I cannot locate it. Set it to one. Oh, there it is. There's the lid for my buttons. Now, let's see how many minutes we got. We got 6 minutes left. Okay. Then we'll be doing the paint work on it, which is the next thing up. Alright, let me grab this one. I'm going to grab one of the big hollow gears here, and I'm going to put it right there. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'm going to come around here, and I'm going to put a little bit of glue, and we're going to grab this and push this in right here. Sweep off this extra, and don't you guys do that because your fingers probably aren't as tough as mine. But there you are. Now, there's a reason I left the one side blank, and we're going to be doing some little bit of decorative stuff now all over it. We're pretty well almost done with the hot glue. I'm going to leave the glue, I'm going to have to turn it off for a few minutes. Because I'm going to have to restart this at some point anyway. Alright, let's get the black paint out. And a paint rag. Now, you got to be real careful here. And I'm going to grab my pinpoint brush, wet her down. And the stuff that I'm painting on here ought to be giving you guys a clue as to what's going to be in the vase. So I got to be careful not to break all the delicate bits that are on this. Alright. Alright. Let's see here. And we'll try to do a little more decorative stuff too on here. But just kind of put those into place. And now let's come down here on this. There's a stringer that's getting in my way. That's annoying me. See how many minutes we got left. 3 minutes. I'll tell you what, I'm going to go ahead and stop this and start it again. Alright. Let me lower this down just a hair. There you go. Mustaches and top hats. Now, this is going to be a little harder. A little bit of this. A bit of a stringer right here. There we go. Now, another stringer. There we go. Need more glue, and more paint rather. Oh, I messed up. Oh, we'll see what we can do. An idea. Now, let's see what we can come up with. Trying to kind of hint at the something like the fleur-de-lis. I think I got it a little bit too long for a fleur-de-lis, but we'll make it work. I don't know, that don't look too awful bad. Now, see if we can paint along this. This is kind of a rough surface to be painting on. It's kind of, it looks hand painted. That's the whole thing. Now, it's not as easy as painting on wood, that's for sure. Canvas, for that matter. Painting on paper, very, very difficult. Not as easy as it looks. Got 12 minutes left. Let's see what we can come up with. Now, it's going to be mostly silhouettes, but there we go. Just kind of a hint of a fish. Oh, you can't see it. Here. There we go. Just kind of a hint of a fish. Alright. Now I bet you're wondering by now, what are we putting in this bouquet? Well, I'll show you. Momentarily. Let me put away this paint and plug in the glue gun, because this is where the glue gun comes in yet again. Also, where your black craft foam and your bamboo skewers come in. I'll go ahead and put the rest of these in there. Oh, don't tip. Alright, now, your next part, you're going to be needing a pair of scissors. So let's go ahead and raise this up so you can see what I'm doing. There we go. Now, the glue gun's fired up, so let's go ahead and cut some down now. Now, you can use this stuff, make it as simple or as complex as you want. Or whatever color floats your boat. But that first thing I painted on this on the side of this thing ought to tell you exactly what's going in, what these are going to be. And if you guys guessed Moustaches, then you are correct. So, let's make us a bouquet of Moustaches, shall we? As crazy as that sounds, it's kind of very much in line with a sort of whimsy of the Victorian era. You're talking about some cats that love their facial hair. Alright, now. Alright, now. What you want to do is attach it right here. And you're going to come over here and do the same thing. Now, this is just kind of a straight up bristle mustache. Believe it or not, there's like whole competitions for people's mustaches, and they get really some of them get really crazy and really elaborate. Me, I'm partial to the mutton chop. Always have been. Alright. Gotta get some foam off here. You gotta make sure it's kind of at least pretending to be even. See? No. See? And you'll make as many of these as you want. Now, that's just a bristle mustache. A handlebar is going to be a little bit trickier, but I'll show you how to do it. Alright. What you want to do depends on what size. I mean, if you're looking for like Yosemite Sam, you may have to work a little bit harder. Alright, cut your square. Now, you're going to cut a second square, and I'll show you why here in a minute. Because you got to have two sides to this in order to hold it up. I'm going to cut this other one. And no, I'm not making a toothbrush mustache. I don't need YouTube getting all up in arms over me putting a quote-unquote Hitler mustache on here, even though it was quite popular for a long time. Alright. Actually, what I think I made was more of a Poirot or whatever. Alright. Alright, now, let's come over here. We've got it lined up. Now you see, one handlebar mustache. Grab a bamboo skewer. Now, I think I'm going to try a different approach this time because I've only made a few of these in my entire life. The first one I actually made for my nephew for Christmas. He is an avid fan of the game of the Mario series of games from Nintendo, and I kept teasing him for weeks and for months and almost a year that he was going to grow a handlebar mustache. So when I gave him his present Christmas morning, when we gave him the present we got for him, I made a handlebar mustache for him to wear. See? Now, let's see. We could also do maybe a pencil mustache. That's a little bit tricky, but we'll try it and see. For that almost looks like a mustache in and of itself, don't it? See what we're going to do. I think we may actually use this one. Just need to trim it down just a hair. See? And that makes kind of a, I don't know, like a Wild West mustache or something. Alright, let's go ahead and cut one. Let's cut some down here and see if we can build one. I'm trying to see if I can get an angle here to cut this down with right there. Alright, so what we're going to do is we're going to come over here, and I'm trying to avoid cutting the mustache itself up. So I'm also trying to use up some scrap material. Alright, now, let's come up here. It don't have to be a perfect fit, but now, I am going to trim the corners right here because nobody has a mustache quite that square. Let's see. And I mean, you can make as many of these or as few as you want, or put flowers or whatever. I mean, if you build this, it'll be your project. And I am never going to be one to tell people how to do their art. That's just not what I do. I can tell you what I'm doing, but honestly, what you do is up to you. Now that one's, I'm going to have to put a little more glue right in here because that's going to come off sure as God made little green apples. Now, you can make brushes, handlebars, Fu Manchus, big old brushes like, like a Bismarck. But I think that should do the job. Let's take a look-see. Got about 2 minutes left in our video. See See, you could have made them different colors or what all. I got some glue still sticking up, but that all can be trimmed down post-production. But now I think that's a pretty cool concept. It's got a little more glue than I like. Let me see what I can do with that. Alright. Let's look at this one here, the little pencil mustache we just got through making. You see how it's got a bit of extra glue? We're just going to come up here and snip that off, because I just don't like it sitting up there. Now, we got a little bit of glue right here on this little Salvador Dali that I made. And I'll see if I can get it off without cutting into the mustache, because that would not be fun. That's not be a good thing. And I'm trying to avoid. There we go. That got rid of it. You got a little bit of glue, but when you're dealing with hot glue, that's kind of a occupational hazard. So, we get our mustaches all separated. And there you are. A steampunk sort of vase. I still like my little fish. With some cogs and gears and things on it. Now, I don't have the capacity to do the really nice sort of work that a lot of people do. Now, I mean, a lot of people have the time to put like all kinds of damask patterns and all this on it. And frankly, my coordination's just not there anymore. But I don't think it looks bad at all. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Don't forget to follow us on Pinterest, Patreon, and Facebook. I thought about something else, but I didn't do it. But I could have. I may get another vase and do it eventually. It'd be to put my triptychs, the little 3 paintings. I've showed them on Facebook. I didn't put them here because I try not to do painting videos because we have a painter for that. Even though I've learned a lot from him. Yeah, if you get a chance, go to Facebook, check out Artistic Impressions with Michael. But I don't think it turned out half bad. We got 15 seconds left, so don't forget to follow us on Pinterest, Patreon, and Facebook, and I will see you guys, one and all, on the flip side. Thanks for watching, bye-bye, and God bless.